Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the intensity of your emotions, as if they were crashing waves threatening to sweep you away? Surely you've experienced the heaviness of grief, the constriction of fear, or the fire of anger, sensations that seem to defy our ability to fully feel and integrate them. In these moments, it's easy to disconnect from our bodies, to try to numb or suppress these powerful inner experiences. But the true path to emotional resilience and wholeness lies in the courageous act of turning towards them with compassion and presence, not in the avoidance or suppression of them. Within each of us lies an intricate symphony of sensations, the ever-shifting landscape of our nervous system's responses, ebbing and flowing, contracting and expanding, shaping our inner world. In this video, we delve into the profound art of attuning to these sensations, honoring their unique rhythms, and nurturing a state of equilibrium through self-compassion and surrender. At the core of our well-being lies the ability to surrender to the innate wisdom of our nervous system. This very personal form of surrender involves acknowledging and embracing the dance of constrictive and expansive sensations that arise within us. The tightness of fear, the warmth of joy, the heaviness of grief. By allowing these experiences to unfold organically without judgment or resistance, we create space for their natural resolution and completion. And here is where we're coming into contact with self-love. True self-love is a journey of self-discovery, healing, and transformation. It invites us to embrace the full spectrum of our experiences with curiosity, kindness, and an unwavering commitment to our authentic peace. Self-love is not about indulgence or avoidance, but about cultivating a deep reverence for the intricate workings of our nervous system and the profound insights it can offer when we approach it with compassionate presence. Our inner landscape is a kaleidoscope of felt perceptions, each carrying its own unique texture and intensity. At one end of the spectrum lie the constrictive sensations, the tightness, tension, and contraction that often accompany emotions like fear, anxiety, and anger. These can manifest as a clenched jaw, a racing heart, or a knot in the stomach, signaling our nervous system's response to perceived threat or stress. At the other end lie the expansive sensations, the warmth, openness, and tingling that often accompany emotions like joy, love, and excitement. These can manifest as a sense of lightness in the chest, a tingling in the limbs, or a radiant glow in our headspace, reflecting our nervous system's response to perceived safety and pleasure. Each of us possesses a unique capacity to sustain and integrate these sensations. Some individuals may have a vast reservoir for the constrictive ones, capable of holding space for intense emotions like fear or anger, while their capacity for the expansive ones may be more limited. Others may find themselves more readily attuned to the expansive end of the spectrum, easily accessing states of joy and excitement, while struggling to fully feel and process constrictive emotions. Honoring our nervous system's responses involves embracing the rhythms of this myriad of sensations without judgment or resistance. It means allowing the tightness of fear to unfold, peak, and dissipate in its own time, trusting in its natural resolution. Similarly, it involves welcoming the warmth of joy, letting it expand and radiate through our being without clinging or grasping. In the case of grief, for instance, some individuals may have a limited capacity to sustain the depth and intensity of it. And so, rather than allowing the heaviness of grief to unfold and reach its natural resolution, they may unconsciously shift towards a more familiar emotion, such as anger, as a way to distract or distance themselves from the overwhelming intensity of the grief. True self-love and nervous system integration involves gradually and compassionately expanding our capacity to hold space for a wider range of experiences, including those that may initially feel overwhelming or unfamiliar. Instead of distracting ourselves with anger or other emotions when faced with the heaviness of grief, self-love invites us to turn towards that sensation with compassionate presence. It means creating a safe and nurturing space for the grief to unfold, acknowledging its depth and intensity without judgment or resistance. Through this act of gentle attunement, we gradually expand our capacity to sustain and process that particular constriction, allowing it to reach its natural resolution and integration. This process of expanding our capacity is not about forcing or pushing ourselves beyond our limits. but rather about cultivating a deep trust in our innate wisdom and resilience. It involves gently and persistently nudging the boundaries of our comfort zones, honoring our rhythms and respecting our unique paces. When dealing with intense emotions like grief, it is akin to tending to a deep wound. We cannot directly heal the grief ourselves, but we can consistently offer the care, compassion, and patience necessary for the healing to occur organically. This approach involves self-compassion, treating ourselves with kindness, understanding, and gentleness, just as we would care for a loved one who is in pain. We can create a safe space for our emotions to be expressed without judgment or criticism. Patience and acceptance. Recognizing that the healing process has its own timeline, unique to each individual, we can honor the rhythm of our emotional journey without trying to rush it, distract from it, or suppress it. Self-care and nourishment. Providing our mind and body with the necessary nourishment and support to facilitate healing. This may include practices like mindfulness, gentle movement, nourishing foods, and seeking support from loved ones or professionals when needed. Presence and attunement. Turning towards our grief with compassionate presence, allowing ourselves to fully feel and acknowledge the depth of our emotions, we attune to the sensations, thoughts, and feelings that arise without resisting or clinging to them. Last but not least, cultivating a deep trust in our innate capacity for healing and resilience. Just as a physical wound can heal when given the right conditions, we can develop the innate trust that our emotional wounds can also heal when we provide a nurturing internal environment. By consistently tending to our emotional wounds with this level of compassion and patience, we create the optimal conditions for the natural healing process to unfold. Over time, the intensity of the grief will start to feel less alien, less painful, less constrictive, simply because of the exposure to it that we facilitated, and we may find ourselves experiencing moments of lightness and joy amidst the sorrow. Mindfulness meditation, body scans, and somatic exercises can be powerful tools for tuning into our inner landscape with curiosity and kindness. Let's look at some practical somatic exercises to help expand your capacity to fully feel and integrate constrictive sensations like grief while embracing vulnerability and self-compassion. First, try the grief embrace. Settle into a comfortable seated position. Bring tissues and water at hand. Place one hand over your heart center and the other hand gently on your belly. Imagine you are tenderly cradling the weight of your grief within this compassionate embrace. Instead of trying to breathe forcefully or in a controlled manner, allow your breath to organically attune to the undulating sensations of grief. If the grief feels constricting, permit your breath to become shallow or momentarily held. If it swells and recedes, let your inhalations and exhalations synchronize with that fluid rhythm. As you breathe with the sensations, open yourself to fully experiencing the grief without attempting to escape. Meet any resistance or discomfort with kindness, offering your grief the space to be felt and held with tenderness and surrender. This practice is not about seeking relief, but about cultivating a deeper capacity to fully feel and giving your nervous system the opportunity to integrate and process the grief at its intrinsic pace. By breathing with the sensations rather than attempting to control or change them, you create an environment of acceptance and tenderness for the grief to unfold and reach its natural resolution. The goal is to expand your ability to sustain and hold space for the constriction without judgment or the need to make it disappear. It's about developing a deeper attunement and respect for your inner experience rather than manipulate it to suit your preferences. Second, practice separating the story in your head that talks about the circumstances of your grief from the sensations in your body. Begin by finding a comfortable position, either seated or lying down. Take a few deep breaths to center yourself. Next, bring your attention to the narrative your mind is creating about the grief, the thoughts, the memories, the circumstances surrounding it. Acknowledge these thoughts without judgment, then gently set them aside. Shift your focus to your physical sensations. Notice where in your body you feel the grief. Is it in your chest, your throat, your stomach? Pay attention to these areas with a sense of curiosity, observing the sensations as they are, without attaching any story to them. Describe these sensations to yourself as objectively as possible. Are they tight, heavy, warm, or cold? Are they static, or do they change over time? Engage all of your senses. Is there a smell, a taste, a sound that prevails? By focusing on the pure physical experience, you allow the emotions to exist and flow without being overwhelmed by the narrative in your mind. Third, try the self-compassion letter. When the intensity of your grief feels overwhelming, remember that it is still your breath that can provide the way out of overwhelm. Simply exhale deeply, consciously, consistently until the uncomfortable constriction subsides. Another thing you can do to deepen the experience is to take pen to paper and write a letter to yourself from the perspective of a compassionate friend. Acknowledge the depth of your suffering and offer words of kindness, understanding, and encouragement. Remind yourself that grief is a natural human experience and that you have the capacity to hold space for this emotion by breathing with the sensations without weaving a story around them or the need to change them. Validate the importance of giving your nervous system the time and space it needs to fully feel and integrate the grief at its own pace. Read the letter aloud to yourself, allowing the words to soothe and nurture your grieving heart, while you practice breathing in attunement with the arising feelings. Through these somatic practices, you can gradually expand your capacity to sustain and integrate the heaviness of any emotion, paving the way for a return to inner balance and centering, where you can re-engage with your life from a place of grounded presence and emotional resilience. See your inner sensations as gateways to self-discovery and growth, rather than obstacles or distractions. A mindset shift towards self-trust and inner wisdom is key to embracing this transformation. Trust in the innate intelligence of your nervous system and its capacity for self-regulation. Recognize that your body and mind possess an inherent wisdom that, when honored and respected, can guide you towards inner harmony. Integrating the practices of self-attunement, compassionate presence, and respecting inner sensations can lead to profound emotional and physiological transformation. By allowing your experiences to unfold naturally without resistance or suppression, you create space for deep healing, self-regulation, and a profound sense of inner equilibrium. I understand that the path can be challenging, but I also know that within each of us lies an innate capacity for healing and growth. Trust in the wisdom of your body and the resilience of your spirit. Approach your inner experiences with curiosity and kindness, for they hold the keys to unlocking a deeper sense of authenticity and wholeness. Remember, you are not alone on this transformative journey. Reach out to loved ones, seek guidance from professionals, and cultivate a community of support. Together, we can navigate the ebb and flow of our emotions, expanding our capacity to fully feel and integrate our experiences. May you find the courage to embrace your shadows with compassion and the strength to let your light radiate. May you cultivate a deep reverence for the innate wisdom of your nervous system, trusting in its ability to guide you towards greater well-being and inner harmony, and may you never lose sight of the profound beauty that lies in the willingness to feel deeply, to heal, and to grow. Allow your inner wisdom to guide you through your unique path towards a profound connection with your authentic self. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.